The government of Canada is asking Canadians to download a new app to help fight COVID. COVID Alert is a free exposure notification app, and who better to tell us about COVID than the man who coined the phrase, speaking moistly. I'm joined now by the Prime Minister of Canada, the Right Honourable Justin Trudeau. Good evening, Mr. Prime Minister.
Good evening, Mark. Always good to speak with you.
How are you? Are you feeling moist?
I'm staying away from moistness, but I change my mask regularly because of that.
Some heroes don't wear capes, they wear masks. Now, first off, you're in a minority government. Did Jagmeet Singh say it was okay for you to be here?
Listen, the parties have worked together as we worked across orders of government to do the things necessary to deliver for them, and that's what Canadians expect. So there's a good degree of collaboration with other parties.
The government of Canada has developed an app, which is great because whenever I want someone to create a complicated piece of software for me, I always say, get me the guys who created the Phoenix Pay system. How does the app work?
Basically, the way it works is it uses Bluetooth, not geolocation, not any personal identifier. It just uses Bluetooth to see if you've been in proximity with another phone. And if you've been in proximity with another phone and another user for 15 minutes, closer than 2 meters, and that person later, the next day or the next week, tests positive for COVID, you'll get an alert that you were exposed. It won't say where, won't say when, won't say from who, but you will know that you were potentially exposed to COVID and should therefore call public health and get tested and isolate.
Some Canadians don't trust this app, though. They do have privacy concerns. Who is getting more information from this app? The Canadian government, the Russian government, or the Chinese government?
None of the above. The user is in full control. It's completely anonymized. There are no identifiers, and you decide if you download it, you decide if you use it, you decide if you call public health when you get a notification. Obviously, we encourage people to, but there are no personal identifications, no location, no issues to invade anyone's privacy.
Mr. Prime Minister, one thing, of course, is that people are traveling less to try and protect others. You say the border is staying closed, but President Trump says you're close to opening it. Is that true, or is it fake news?
Decisions on what Canadians do with the border will be made here in Canada, and we will continue to put the protection of Canadians first and foremost. That border is continuing to stay closed for another month.
President Trump said this weekend that if he loses the election, he may leave the country. Is that why you won't open the border?
You know, we're all watching how things unfold south of the border, and as you know, I will work with whoever gets elected or re-elected and continue to stand up for Canadian interests and mostly continue to protect Canadians through this COVID crisis.
When your father was Prime Minister, he once said to President Nixon that living next to the United States was like sleeping with an elephant and that you're affected by every twitch and grunt. So let's talk about the elephant in the room briefly. The elephant isn't sleeping anymore. He's wide awake. He's been up all night tweeting from the toilet. He claims to be COVID. He's on steroids and bragging about all the women he could grab with his trunk. This is like sleeping with an elephant if the elephant had 2 grown sons who like to trophy hunt other elephants. Is it still an elephant, or is it more like a Tyrannosaurus Rex with a handgun?
It's what we're doing. We are working with the U.S. in a way that is productive and positive as possible. Yes, there are challenges, but there are always challenges with any U.S. president. We've had 4 years of this administration, and we're ready for whatever happens in November, because Canadians expect us to be ready to continue working with our closest neighbor and most important trading partner.
Before you go, Prime Minister, last thing, I want to tell you something. This is a true story. One of our writers downloaded the COVID Alert app to write some questions for you today, and it told them that they had been exposed and we had to shut down the office. So my next question is, I have no further questions because your app shut down our writer's room. Congratulations. Mr. Prime Minister, thank you for taking the time to do this. Stay safe. Not all world leaders wear masks, so I want to thank you for wearing one on behalf of all Canadians, not just because you're helping to stop the spread of COVID, but because it covers up that ridiculous beard. Bon nuit!
You know a lot about ridiculous beards, Mark, so I'll let you run with that.
All right, see ya.
I'm sorry that I hurt kids who, get, ooh.